Hello and welcome to my humble model Robbie, Bedstead Junction. And you'll be thinking, well, where's the train? It's not coming in, is it? No train's going around at the moment. And that's because we've got a new arrival come today. Okay, so we've got the patter of tiny rails, as I say, or the patter of tiny wheels, as I say. But anyway, here it is, our new arrival. Now, it's come from, it just come in the post today, so I'm getting quite excited to have a look at this. Alright, so what we're going to do is we'll just come across now and we'll take a quick look at the what we've got. And I'll explain to you how it actually came, okay? So obviously it came well wrapped in its outer box, okay? And what we'll be looking at today is a Hornby King class. Hornby King. Don't read that. King Edward VIII, okay? In late BR crest, okay? It's showing it there with a detail pack all attached to it. When I bought this, I knew it didn't come with a detail pack. I'm going to take a chance and order the detail pack off the internet. They appear to be readily available, so just open it for the right particular model, of course. Now, it comes with the usual instructions about maintenance and everything else. So you've got the usual Hornby, or just standard Hornby thing there, giving you routine maintenance and how to look after the motor and the accessories. It's all there. How to move the body and everything else, where to oil it. Yeah, that's all quite good stuff. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so what we will do is we will move on now to the star of the show in just a few moments. So the last little thing, that's the box it came in as well. Okay, Hornby. The kind of box we know that we come to know and love. And it also came with this in the block of ice packaging. Okay, so that's how it came. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a little look now at the star of the show. Now this revolving stage always reminds me of Saturday night at the London Palladium. Okay, back in the day, the London Palladium used to have a revolving stage. So and that was the highlight of our week, I think, London Palladium for many of us. But here we go, the star of the show, Hornby King, King Edward VIII. We'll zoom in so we can have a better look at her. Okay, and I'm going to see if we can get some more light onto her as well in just a moment. You'll see it's King Edward VIII. Let's move this lamp around here and we'll see if we can shed more light on the subject. I don't know if that's got any brighter. In late BR crest, so that's a crest of 1956 onwards. That's your running number there. 6029, I believe. And King Edward VIII, only king for a very, very short period of time in the late 1930s, okay? And he actually abdicated his role of king. And he was, then he gave up the throne and he handed over the reign to King George VI, okay? Edward VIII was a very, very popular king, a very, very popular person, and it would have been a very, very great shock to the public when he actually decided to abdicate, okay? But we'll go into that story later on. Let's go into the story for another day. Now, what I look for in these locomotives is that there's no bits missing, nothing falling off in the box. Now, what I never do, I never tip the box over and let the locomotive fall out of the box, okay? Not when you buy something that's coming through the post. If there are any loose bits that are in the bottom of that box and they drop out onto the carpet, you've basically had it, okay? You could send it back, possibly. But you've lost the option of reattaching the parts if you wanted to. Now, here's a lesson I learned actually. Now, that's the side view over there. You've got the steam pipes down there. You see some red in there. The valve gear is actually represented by a lot of red underneath the boiler, because it's a 4-cylinder locomotive. It's got the 2 outside cylinders you can see there, and then the inside cylinders are under the boiler. Double chimneyed. That's obviously a late addition to the Castles and the Kings, and that was to give the locomotives more power and give them the ability to be able to deal with slightly less quality coal. Now we'll look at the front part of it. We'll see if we can get into focus there. I think we can just about see from there now the locomotive dart. Okay, that's definitely attached, and that was even the first thing I looked for before I took out the box, that the locomotive dart was still attached, and it was. Moving on to the buffer, you've got the hook in the middle of the buffer there, as usual. The actual steam pipe vacuum or steam pipe is missing from there, so I guess that will come as part of the accessory pack when I get that. So I will show you it when I've actually fitted some of these accessories, if I decide to do that. Okay, and I think the drain cocks to go underneath the cylinders, that's also part of the accessory pack, and the brake rodding. Okay, so but I knew, like I say, I knew that was missing when I bought this. But I bought this for far less than a new one, and I gotta be honest with you, I think if you bought a second-hand one and it's described as pristine, it's probably survived up until now with all these bits attached, so it's probably a good omen for when you buy it yourself. But anyway, that's just my opinion. Now again, you've got your late crest 6029. Yep, 6029, and it's got the red route marker. Okay, so that shows that this locomotive can only go on the most strongly built parts of the Great Western Railway. So one of the restrictions which were placed on these were that they could not go over the Royal Albert Bridge, over the River Tamar and on into Cornwall. But really, between the Great Western and the Southern, the two great rivals in this area, the race was really to Plymouth. I think it was for boat trains and things like that. But then obviously they go on to their own destinations in Cornwall. The Southern took its own route via Oakhampton, whereas the Great Western Railway would have gone along the seawall by Dawlish and Teignmouth, and and across the River Tamar on the Royal Albert Bridge. Okay, so it did mean a change of locomotives when they got to the Royal Albert Bridge. Onto the back here, another thing which I wanted to make sure about the locomotive, you can just about see it clearly enough there. The steps. There's 4 steps you've got on the back of there. I don't know whether or not they're separately fitted parts. Okay, they're still attached to the locomotive, which is a good sign. Okay, the hooks there and the buffers. Now, one thing some people are asking, is it sprung buffers? It's going to be really important to some people, so here we go. Sprung buffers. Yeah, we've got sprung buffers. I think sprung buffers are not essential, because obviously most people won't couple their locomotives so close together that the buffers are going to hit each other. But I think it's a sign of, for many people, of a premium model. That you're getting what you actually paid for in the form of a premium model with premium features. Okay. We're moving back onto this side. Oh, and we'll come back round again. Something I forgot to mention. You've got the metal reversing rod there as well. Okay. And one of the questions that some people will ask is, if you're going to be adding detail to this cab, like in the form of a driver and a fireman, which side the driver go, always look for where the reversing rod is. Because that should normally be the side where the driver goes. And on the Great Western locomotive, the driver goes on the right, the fireman on the left. Okay, I've seen 1 or 2 models offered on eBay where they put the driver on the wrong side. Okay, so that's a little tip for you. We'll move on to the cab now. We'll see if we can take a proper look into the cab. And you just need to bear with me just a moment. Obviously, we can't see too well into the cab because of the lighting. We do our best with the lighting. We'll see if we can bring some lighting onto it. Oh yes, there we go. So the cab, you can see there, everything's picked out on the cab. Really, really, really nice fully decorated cab there. If you can see it there, we've got your reversing lever in red, picked out as well. We're a little bit high up to be able to see right into the cab. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just have a quick look down. I can't get the camera angle right for this, but I wanted to see. Yeah, there would appear to be the dials, the clocks and dials. They appear to have their needles put on them, the detail on that as well. So again, really, really nice detailed cab there. Okay, perfect. Put the lamp back over there. Okay, so now we're going to move along to the other side, and really the other side very, very similar. Really, you've got your lake crest there, your route marker with your 6029 number and King Edward VIII, and your double chimney cylinder there, all nicely lined out. Nice lining on it. The firebox weren't lined on these. Okay, which is something which you get on Great Western locomotives and possibly others as well. The firebox very often don't get lined. This obviously will be our livery, so this will be and lake crest, so it will be as this locomotive would have looked for about 1956 onwards. Okay, so we're going to move right back round again. One more look. Yes, definitely that locomotive dart is attached. So that's a quick 360 view of it. Okay. There's a running number there, 6029. Forgive me if there's anything I've forgotten to mention. Okay, but what we're going to do now is we're going to move on to checking that this engine actually runs. Okay, so what I'm going to do is we're going to take it away from the Lazy Susan. We're going to focus on this area over here now. I'm going to set the tripod about there, I think. There, so we can see it coming round coming around the past the signal box in a moment. I'm just going to get the railing ramp. I always like to use a railing ramp. Right, okay, so we're nearly there. So a lot of you will be sort of asking what. You know, well, come on, get on the tracks, we want to see it go. And so we will in just a moment. One thing we'll do before we actually do that though, is I forgot to mention the coal load. We're not happy enough really to see it all that well, but we'll just swivel around. No, we'll just turn around on the Lazy Susan. I might have to heighten the camera up just a little. Okay, I think we've got focus issues there as well, so there we go. Right, so let's just bring this up a little. That's one advantage of having a tripod. You can choose the height from where you're filming. So, and this tripod is capable of going much higher than this. There we are, our coal load. I think it looks quite nice. It's got a nice little glisten to it. I like to have a bit of a glisten to a coal load. That kind of signifies that it may have been sort of sprayed over with water just to stop to keep the dust down on there. And you can see it's going down, sloping nicely towards towards the engine as well. You've also got your water filler there at the back. That various detail there. Another detail I want to check as well on these are the brake handles. Yeah, they're quite fine, so they're difficult to see actually, but they are actually attached, so that's fine. You can see them from there. Right, now we're going to move on to the thing. Oh, obviously you've got your copper cap chimney there, and your brass safety valve, brass whistle, so everything's all nicely represented there too. Okay, so let's get the railing ramp. Without any further ado, let's get going, shall we? So what we're going to do, we're just going to move the move across to here now. Get the railing ramp put in place. I think that looks promising. Right, okay, so now then, we are now onto the raiding ramp, okay? And here we are, so that's our King Edward VIII. Let's watch her go forward and backwards just a little bit now. So watch her go backwards in reverse. Beautiful, so we know it works in reverse. And we know it works forwards as well. Okay, so there we go. We can see the copper cap chimney there. Brass safety valves and whistles. Okay, that's why there was a different colour. The brass safety valves, you've got brass and copper there, two different metals. When I first got into model railwaying, I thought, well, what are they different colours? You know, well that explains it for you. You clearly see the double chimney there, designed to give the locomotive more power and to be able to deal with the lower quality coal. Right, so without any further ado, let's send her around the track. Running really nice and quietly, nice and smooth. I can really imagine this now elegantly on its way to Cornwall. Well, probably not all the way to Cornwall, because it will take the Cornish Riviera Express as far as Plymouth. Now, the reason the locomotives were built, and there was only 30 built, was two things really. The trains were getting heavier and heavier and heavier. Loads were getting longer, more coaches, better built coaches, stronger coaches. Okay, and you needed locomotives capable of pulling it. Also, there was a bit of a power struggle between the Great Western Railway and the Southern Railway. Now, first of all, the Great Western Railway started off with the Star class, 4-cylinder locomotive. Then the Castle class, and then they were kind of supreme locomotives. Now, the Castle class was theoretically trumped, and no offence to Southern Railway fans, by the Lord Nelson class. Okay, now the Lord Nelson class had a higher tractive effort than the Castles. Okay, so that was one of the reasons why the Kings were actually brought into being, and that then the tractive effort crown, so to speak, the top trump was taken by the Great Western Railway once more. But really, you need to look at how many Lord Nelsons and how many Kings were built. They were nowhere near as numerous. I mean, the Lord Nelson class was nowhere near as numerous as the King Arthur class, as far as I know. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. But certainly, the Kings were far less numerous than the Castles or the Stars. Now, I'm just going to watch it go round just a moment. Please excuse me. I've noticed in my excitement to look at this locomotive, I've missed a few things. I need to go and get a few items to go with it as well. Okay, really happy with this. I mean, really happy. Right, we were missing a station building from the layout. That's just gone out now. Probably you spotted none of these buildings are permanently fixed, and neither is the track. Okay, so that's why my railway does actually have to go away at the end of every running session. I'll just kick the tripod then, please, sorry about that. Now, we're going to get some rolling stock for it. Then we can see what it looks like with rolling stock. Right, so I think first of all we need a composite coach. I'm just going to take the locomotive round now. Just around here. So it's ready to take on the coaches. Okay, so there we go. I'm just going to check we've got enough clearance between the track and the locomotive. I'm sure we have, but there we go. We'll have to make sure we've got that. There we go. We'll just move that platform over just a little bit just to make sure. Now we don't very often look at the rolling stock, do we? A lot of us, I don't, so you don't concentrate on the rolling stock enough. These were available in the Hornby Railroad range, GWR composite coaches. Okay, a composite coach and a restaurant car. I already had the brake coach, but the brake coach I believe I bought in the 1990s. So you can see that they're all compatible with each other. What I'm going to do is I'm going to see if we can get the ramp in focus there, and you can see the actual everything going on. There we go, that should do it. Okay, so this is Hornby R4523 GWR composite coach, and be right there in just a tick. Right, so that's the composite coach ready. Hornby R4525 GWR restaurant coach. Okay, see that there. We've got a restaurant coach. For those of you who like to see the package and everything else, and to give you an idea of what you're buying if you decide to get some of these coaches, they were available on Amazon. I don't know if they still are. Okay. They were available, that's where I got these two railroad coaches from, was on Amazon. And quite reasonably priced too. And then we'll take off our brake coach. This is an R457, which is a much older model from the 1990s. There. So now we've got our brake van, we've got all our coaches ready to go. So let's get these onto the radar. Okay, the radar's not quite on correctly, or at least the wheels are not going on correctly for some reason. Normally a radar's supposed to be making it easy for me. There we are. I think probably the rating ramp was just a little bit skew-if. There we go, so that's all our coaches on properly. Now if any of you out there don't have a rating ramp, okay, and you're kind of a beginner or whatever, or even if you're an experienced modeler, I found over the years the rating ramp has made my life so much easier. It's surprising when on my YouTube channel it's been very much a steep learning curve for me here, and it's surprising when you're actually filming how things would go wrong when you're filming. And one of the things which can happen when you're filming is you suddenly lose all your dexterity. If it happens to you, well, don't worry, it happens to a lot of us. It certainly happens to me, and that's why I use a rating ramp, just make things easier for me. So we'll see now if we can bring up a coupling. These are the correct collet coaches, okay? And they will focus onto our locomotive now. And we'll send it around. So away we go. We're not coupled. Hey. No, it's not coupling. Let's try and find out why that's happening. Of course, a new locomotive straight out of the box. Yes, something I need to look at. I'll have a better look at the coupling on the back of that locomotive. Right, so away we go. Of course, it's just new out of the box, so we'll have to have a proper look at that that coupling at some other time. Okay, round it goes. So now we're putting away from Paddington, and we're whizzing away towards the West Country with our King Edward VIII. Now we'll briefly talk about King Edward VIII as well. I've got to say, he only had a very short reign, and he advocated for the purposes of love. He wanted to marry an American divorcee called Wallis Simpson, and of course he did. He advocated in order for him to be able to marry Wallis Simpson. Okay, so that's obviously been the spur for many dramas being made on TV dramas, costume dramas, that sort of thing, I should imagine. I think there was one called Edward and Mrs. Simpson, and of course they're still talking about this today even. Of course, King Edward VIII, as he was very popular, very popular, outgoing kind of person. Whereas his successor, George VI, you could be said was a little bit less withdrawn. I mean, if you saw the film called The King's Speech, you would also know that King George VI had more of a difficulty with public speaking. Okay, and he obviously overcame that in order to deliver his big speech at the beginning of World War II. So it was a big, an interesting time really in history. Now I think King Edward VIII, when he became the king, they made the nameplates, but they used it on a locomotive that was originally called King Stephen. Okay. So I don't know. What would you give up for love, eh? I mean, King Edward VIII gave up his throne. Now I'm really pleased with this mod, and it really runs well. I got to thank the Modern Railway Emporium who supplied this to me. Like I say, I knew it didn't come with a detail pack. I will be ordering that quite shortly. I'm pretty sure I know which one we need on this, and I'll get these missing details fitted if I can, if I need to. Might put figures in the cab, driver and fireman. With a lovely detailed cab like this, it always makes you feel a bit guilty about putting figures in a way. Now something else I want to be able to decide if we got on here, and it's a feature I've forgotten to mention as it's going round. Obviously you do get, with a new locomotive, we all get involved in a certain amount of excitement. Yes, it's got one. It's got one. This is what I would call a premium feature. Once I've got my controller back onto the baseboard. Right. It's one disadvantage of this this controller. It's quite light in weight. This combi controller. So you need. There we are. Just need something maybe to keep on the now a bit better. Okay. So yeah, we're going to have a look at this now from here. I'll be able to see it from here. Yeah, you might be able to just about see this. You've got something I've been going on talking about for a long time. Okay. There, we see it now. It's got a fully posable full plate. That full plate is actually hinged. It goes up and down. That is a feature I've not seen since my counters. Okay, since I had the original Dapple style. Well, they not be called the Dapple style county class, or the older county class, not the railroad version. You've got a fully posable full plate. Now I know on my Star class, the full plate was actually fixed into one position, and that. When you've got a posable full plate like this, it actually moves up and down. That is much more realistic. Okay, let's put her away. Now there will be a slight break in continuity because we have actually overran our running time. Okay, Now what we'll do is we're going to call it a day for now. We'll have one last look at her running around the tracks, okay? So you can get some different poses of it. Let's watch her go through the station over there. My station I've got to put out. See her flying through the station there. Imagine that those people sat on the country station there, possibly waiting for a local service. And then suddenly they watch this magnificent king thunder past. And I cannot repeat enough, I think, how pleased I am with this particular model. Okay, King Edward VIII. Okay, it was a second-hand model, I grant you that, but it came in perfect condition. Okay, absolutely superb. Really, really, really pleased. I mean, this has really kind of brought my collection really up to date, sort of thing. Let's see if we can lower the tripod down a little. This usually goes down on its own anyway. Then we'll see we've got more of a line side view of her. There we go, so we're a bit lower down now. And if we move the tripod round slightly, well, we're working in very restricted spaces here. This is as low as the tripod will go. But we'll watch her coming towards us now. And we'll have a look at the motion going round as we go by. So there we go, you can see the motion nicely now. You can imagine being on that. This is the kind of view you might get if you were on the platform, let's say, and watching it whiz by on its way to the West Country. So that's our Hornby King, pulling three very nice GWR coaches. Well, they are in my opinion. I know they're in the railroad versions and everything else, but I know that a lot of the more modern stock, rolling stock is more kind of detailed, probably might be more accurate than everything else. But these coaches do have an advantage on a layout this small. Okay, I mean, I'm only doing this on a bed top. I could see 6 foot by 4 foot layout. Is that these coaches are a little bit shorter, okay, and when you're trying to figure out where on earth you're going to put things like siding stations and everything else, and where I was going to be putting my station, because I can't go twin track. I want to get as much locomotives out as possible on a 6 foot by 4 foot layout. And so you can see I've got the twin track junction there, and that I've got just about enough space to get a locomotive and 3 coaches into that station, into the station there. Okay, so we're going to leave it there. Okay, now if you've enjoyed watching this, click like. If you're not subscribed yet, please subscribe and ring that bell and you'll be able to see more videos. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you very much for your interest, and I shall bid you farewell and bye bye for now. Oh, but by the way, this is going to take ages to render. Okay, we're actually filming this at about 2:45 in the afternoon. It's probably going to be 6 o'clock in the evening at least before I'm able to put this out onto YouTube. Okay, so there will be a bit of so when you actually get to see this, it will be early evening. Okay, so we're going to get it done for you now. Okay, and I shall bid you farewell for now, and bye bye.